Hello everyone, I'm Kristel and Celemin from the Batangas State University, Alangilan Campus, taking Bachelor of Science in Information Technology from the section 2105. This video is all about the summary of the chapter 10. So let's start. The chapter 10 is all about the application layer. So the application layer is closest to the end layer. In OSI model, we have the 7 layer. So the first one is the physical. Second one is the data link. The third is network. The fourth is transport. The fifth is session. The sixth is presentation. And the seventh is application. So application is on top, so that's why we can say that the application layer is closest to the end user. So network application enables users to send and receive data with ease. So we can easily send and receive data because it is closer. It is close to the end user. The application layer acts as interface between the applications and the underlying network. Application protocols help exchange data between programs running on the source and destination host. Presentation and session layer. So I mentioned a while ago the presentation and the session layer. So the presentation layer has 3 primary functions. So the presentation layer, so the format data, compressed data, and the encrypt data. So common standard for video include QuickTime and motion picture. Expert group is the MPEG. So the MPEG is which we usually see in the photos that after their file name we can see the MPEG, and the MPEG stands for the motion picture experts group. So if the picture is a motion picture, so the extension of it is that .mpeg. So common graphic image formats are graphics interchange formats, or the GIF or the GIF. Then the joint photographic experts group, or the JPEG. The JPEG I think is the most common extension for the photos. Then portable network graphics, or the PNG format. Continuation for the presentation and the session layer. So the session layer creates and maintains dialogues between the source and destination application. The TCP and IP application layer protocols specify the format and control information necessary for common internet functions. So application layer protocols also must be implemented in both source and destination devices because it controls. Then the application layer protocols implemented on the source and destination host must be compatible to allow the communication. So the source and the destination must be compatible for them to have a communication. So the client-server model. The device requesting the information is called a client. So a client is the device that are requesting the information. We call that the client. Then the server is the device responding to the request. So, if the client is the device requesting the information, the server is the one that are responding to that request. Then, client and server processes are considered to be in the application layer. So, the process of the client and server are in the application layer. So, the client initiates the exchange by requesting data from the server. So, the client will request to request to the server the data. So, the server responds by sending one or more stream of data to the client. So, since the client requests for the information, so the server will respond by sending one or more stream of data to the client. Then, application layer protocol describe the format. Application layer protocol describe the format of the requests and responses between clients and the servers. So that is the role of the application layer. So it describes the format of the request and the request of the client and the response of the server. So it describes the format. So the contents of the data exchange will depend on the application in use. Then, email is an example of a client-server interaction. Peer-to-peer network. So, in the peer-to-peer network model, the data is accessed without the use of dedicated server. Two or more computers can be connected to a P2P or the peer-to-peer network to share resources. So it needs to be two because it is between of the two devices, a peer-to-peer connection. Every connected end device can function as both a server and a client. So all the connected end devices can both function as a client, so they can request for an information to the server, and the server will respond, so they can do both. The role of client and server are not set on a per request basis. So, some P2P applications use a hybrid system. So, they use the hybrid system. In hybrid P2P or in the hybrid peer-to-peer resource sharing is decentralized. So, they are not centralized. So, indexes that point to resource location are stored in a centralized directory. In a hybrid system, each peer accesses in an index server to get the location of a resource stored on another peer. So, the common P2P network include eDonkey, the G2, BitTorrent, and the Bitcoin. So, let's go now with the HTTP or the Hypertext Transfer Protocol and the Hypertext Markup Language. Web address uniform resource locator, or the URL, or we all know that the link that we use as a source, then is a reference to a web server. URL allows a web browser to establish a connection to that web server. URLs and uniform resource identifier, or the URIs, are the names of the most common associated with web addresses. The URL has three basic parts. So the first one is the HTTP. So that is the protocol or the scheme. Next one is, for example, www.cisco.com. So the server name, it is the server name. Then the next one is the, like for example, the index.html, the specific file name requested. So that is the specific file requested. The browser sends a GET request to the server's IP address and it will ask for the file name. For example, the index.html file. The server sends the requested file to the client. So since the client will request for the information, the server will send the requested file to the client. The index.html was specified in the URL and contains the HTML code for this web page. The HTTP and HTTPS. HTTP is a request or response protocol. It has three common message types: the GET, the POST, and the PUT. HTTP also is not a secure. Message can be intercepted. HTTP uses authentication and encryption to secure data. So, as I said, the HTTP is not secure. So, that's why it used the authentication and the encryption to ensure the safety, or to secure the data. Email protocols. Email is stored and forward method of sending, storing, and retrieving electronic messages. So we commonly use the email for the sending. We send data there, storing, and even retrieving the messages. Email messages are stored in databases on mail servers. So the databases are the used in stored. It is where the email messages are stored. Email clients communicate with mail server to send and receive email. The SMTP operation. So the SMTP message format requires a message, header, and body. The POP operation. Messages are downloadable from the server to the client. The IMAP operation. It is another protocol used to retrieve the email messages. The IMAP is used to retrieve the email messages. Next one is the domain name service, or the DNS. Domain names are created to make server addresses more user-friendly. So the DNS makes to make the server addresses more user-friendly or easily to use. Domain names such as the http and then www.cisco.com are user-friendly. Addresses associated with the IP address of the specific server. So, we can easily identify or we can easily make that. So, that is because of the DNS. So, the DNS message format. So, the DNS supports different types of records. Some of these records are A, an end device IPv4 address. NS, an authoritative name server. The 4A or AAAA, an end device IPv6 address. And the MX, a mail exchange record. DNS hierarchy. The DNS protocol uses a hierarchical system with the root at the top and the branches below. The naming structure is broken down into small manageable zones. So the DNS is hierarchical. So it's from root to top. So they have the proper order. Top-level domains represents either the type of domain of the country or origin. So, for example, of top-level domains are .com, a business or industry. .org is non-profit organization. .au is Australia and .co is Colombia. So, we can see that in the link. So, like for example, a while ago. So, www.cisco.com. So, the .com is a business or industry. So, that's all for the summary of chapter 10. So, thank you for watching.